this is Unit 13, Cyber Leadership Support. So the 4 qualities I'm going to be talking about are knowledge of sports skills, knowledge of rules and law, understanding the mental needs of participants, and understanding the physical needs of participants. So the first quality is the knowledge of sports skills. So this is the ability to be able to show a wide range of skills to the participants while just speaking to them. So you have to understand that all your players are not going to be able to have the same skills, so you need to use them to your advantage and utilise them differently. So I used the example of basketball. You're going to use the tall guy to probably defend and the short guy to dunk, so he's got more dribbling, you're probably able to outwit the defender. So this is understanding the skills of basketball. So while you're doing the drills and holding sessions for your people, for the participants, if you see someone doing something wrong, you need to go over there, help them, or just let them carry on. And you use different techniques to improve the skill. So some people improve depending on the technique you use, and so you need to be able to alter some of the techniques if it helps your participants. So the second quality is knowledge of the rules and the laws. So first you need to be a good role model. Otherwise, people, no matter the laws and stuff you implement in the sessions, you need to be a good role model for the participants to know that you know what you're talking about. So professionalism, so you're talking about the rules and regulations. Professionalism just aids that. You're helping, by being professional, the participants that you hold the sessions for will know, due to your professionalism, that you know the rules and the regulations fully. So you need to be strict if you need. So an example of this was manager Remy Gard. When Jack Grealish, it wasn't the first time he's gone out partying, and he knows that the player needs to show a level of professionalism. And because he'd been gone out partying, he was strict on the rules and regulations, so we dropped him for the next few games. So understanding the mental needs of participants. So you need to understand the inspirations and what motivates your players, what gets them going, what makes them tick. So each player will have different things that motivates them, and you need to be able to identify this. So you need to know what make them work harder, and use this separately for each participant. So what links with this is using the role of a psychologist. So example of some managers are Brian Clough and Mourinho. They used psychology in a lot of their sessions, as they knew it made the players work harder. So for example, Brian Clough, he used to tell some of the players during games that the England manager was in the stands observing, and this consciously makes them work harder because they want to impress the manager. So that's how they use psychology. And Mourinho is very similar. And last quality is understanding the physical needs of participants. So you need to understand again that there's different abilities amongst different players. And the sessions that you hold and the drills, they must have the same aim for everyone, but through different activities. Because some players learn through different techniques and through different sessions, but the end aim must be the same. And those who don't have the same ability as the better players, you've got to make them feel wanted, make them that they have something to show to the team, and don't make them feel inadequate due to the better players. So show equality amongst all the players, no matter their ability. So these are the 4 characteristics that I'm using: discreet, approachable, commitment, and persistence. So the first is discreet. The manager must be confidential of some of the information that the players are willing to tell them. So keeping the personal information that are told confidential, and not blurting it out in media, etc. So examples could be personal problems, injuries, and just issues in general that could help the opposition. So you need to be careful when speaking to the performers to avoid saying something wrong that might get them a bit agitated. So a discreet sports leader links into the next characteristic, which is approachable. So if the manager is discreet and the players know whatever they tell him, he won't say it out, it will make him more approachable, more likeable, more comfortable to speak to and perform. So easy to talk to, the players will open up, and this leads to better performances on the pitch. So it allows for relationships to build, and like I said, you work hard for the manager, as you know, you have a good relationship with him. So, and like I said, the manager will only be approachable if he can be discreet. So some of these characteristics link with each other. So an example of a manager would be Eddie Howe, as you see. A factor that could be due to this is the age. Since he's not older than some of the players will feel like they're on the same level with him, but they still have that respect for him because he's a manager. So you have trust in the manager, and this leads to better performances on the pitch. So another characteristic is commitment and passion. So of course, Jurgen Klopp, his enthusiasm and the passion he has for the sport is evident in the games when they win. You can see he's jumping around everywhere. So give the goals that are set from the beginning and stick to them throughout the whole sessions and through the session. So you give 100% and you stay goal focused throughout. So you can do this through giving extra sessions. Whoever wants to attend can come, shows you commitment levels, and advise some of the players what they're doing wrong, what they can do better, what they're doing right. And so you got, of course, to be committed, you got to love what you're doing. And this leads to players trying their best. If they see the enthusiasm in the manager and his commitment, it'll work for them. It'll lead to them working harder. So just motivate the athletes. And my last characteristic is persistence. So no matter the standards you set at the beginning, you got to always stick to them, refer to them. So encourage the players if they're having a tough period, encourage them, motivate them, and have faith in their ability. So, for example, Walker, he'd come back from a long-term injury, and he wasn't performing to his best, and this was due to the injury. But Arsene Wenger showed faith in him and played him a few matches. And in the last match of last season, he scored a hat-trick. So it shows that having faith in players, it can improve their performances. So feeling wanted, because if the manager's showing faith in you, even though you're having a tough period, it shows that the manager knows you have the right ability, and it makes you feel wanted, and you just want to try harder to change that tough period and improve yourself. So you want to improve and better performances just for the manager. So the 4 roles that I've used are motivator, psychologist, organizer, and role model. So the first role is motivator. You always have the player's interest. Know what interests them, know what makes them tick, and you've got to use this in all your sessions whenever you're speaking to them. Make the sessions fun. Players will want to participate in them before the matches, the training sessions. So players try hard. You always got to be optimistic. If the players see the enthusiasm and optimism in you, they're going to know, they're going to try hard for you. And again, this is where a bit of psychology could be needed, and so you know what the mental needs of the participants. And yeah. So the way you talk to the participants will be very important. It's like the tone of voice you use, what you say. So this is a quote from Arsene Wenger, and it shows that it's a motivational speech, and it stuff like this that are said by the manager tells the players that you can try your best, and if you try your best, you can lead something. So yeah, and the team morale very high. A high team morale actually leads to better performances on pitch. So second is psychologist, which again you can use for different characteristics and etc. So again, if you find out what motivates each player, use it to your advantage, and through speech when you're talking to them, etc. So you know the different behaviours of each player. You got to understand that every player has different motivations and is inspired and motivated by different things, and managers got to use this to their advantage. So like I said again earlier, Brian Clough, he always used to say, well not always, but in some of his games he used to say that the manager the England manager would be on the pitch, the England manager would be on the pitch, and this, without knowing, you'll just perform better on the pitch because you'll know you want to impress the England manager, get a spot in the team. And these were some of the ways, and the impact that it had is clear because he won the European title back-to-back with Nottingham Forest. So the third role is organiser. So a good organiser should have everything ready beforehand, everything planned, and he should have a contingency plan. So if anything was to go wrong with his original plan, he could alter that. So this could be done through things like the weather. So if the weather's poor and you're planning on having good weather, you'll know that you can have a different session inside, indoors, etc. So the training session got to be planned. It's got to run through smoothly. So the players will see that the manager, the sport leader, doesn't have sessions planned. They're just going to take it for a joke. They're going to see this manager doesn't know what he's talking about. So when the manager shows that he's organised, the players know that the manager's aware of what he's doing. So they're going to follow what he's saying. And so my last role is just being a good role model. A role model is someone that's looked up to. It's known on a wide scale. So they need to show a good example to follow. So younger players around look up to them and try their best. So examples are Ronaldo, Messi, they're known worldwide. And what they do on and off the pitch affects the way people perceive them. And if they're doing good stuff, like to show the professionalism, the young players in the team, young people around the world, they're going to look up to them and they're going to copy that. So they've got to set the benchmark stuff for the other players in the team to look up to and try and aim for that as well. So again, professionalism must always be on show on and off the pitch. So examples are Ronaldo, Messi. So their actions, what they do, influence what young people do as well. in the team, and I think that's my presentation. Thank you very much.